All right, it's good to have you join us this Monday afternoon. It is the 17th day in the month of May 2021. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. It is Talking Points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. You know, the idea behind the program is to get us talking about things that affect us as a people. And here we are today, talking about health. Today is World Hypertension Day. And quite a number of conversations on the table. I mean, desirable conversation indeed about the World Hypertension Day 2021. Okay, so the theme for this year is measure your blood pressure, control it, live longer. Okay, so the World Hypertension Day is celebrated on May 17th every year since May 2005. And it is essentially to raise awareness about this health condition. So hypertension affects more than 30% of the adult population worldwide and more than 1 billion people around the world. It is the main risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, especially coronary heart disease and stroke, but also for chronic kidney disease, heart failure, and dementia, among others. The burden of hypertension is felt disproportionately in low and middle income countries where 2/3 of cases are found, largely due to increased risk factors in those populations in recent decades. So you get the drift that it is a big deal that we need to pay attention to. Okay, so let's look at what's up now. So around half of people living with hypertension are unaware of their condition, putting them at risk of avoidable medical complications and death. So a while ago, I was saying something about the fact that many of us don't know our health conditions, and therefore the tendency to attribute failure in health to some extraterrestrial factors rather than on science. It is conjecture that decides whatever we believe about our health. Peculiarities about Nigeria. I'm looking at figures by the Nigerian Heart Foundation. I'm just looking at their document here. The prevalence of hypertension is about 38.1%. Variable between, so you have 28.9% in the north, central, and then 52.8 in the south, and southwest is 42.1. That's fat, isn't it? And we have to trim it, okay? In Nigeria, almost 1 in 3 adults have hypertension, while only one third are on treatment. Imagine that. Only one third are on treatment. So in other words, many others are just carrying on and on until they hit the brinks. So the awareness of hypertension is more in the urban than rural. Okay, so and more amongst women than men. Since the onset of COVID-19 in Nigeria, we have to factor in the COVID-19, in all our conversations this time. So since the onset of COVID-19 in Nigeria, we have evidence that more people with heart disease have been more affected or died from COVID than any other illness. Also, we are aware that the cost of treatment with whatever it is, anti-hypertensive drugs have gone up in Nigeria since the onset of COVID-19. So you are seeing a reflection of those things. I was looking at a news item also some time ago that says that I'm going to read it in a moment. Okay, that story has to do with high blood pressure in Nigeria. The report says 38 of every 100 Nigerians have high blood pressure disease. So that's massive, isn't it? Okay, so let's have conversation around this matter on the program today. Talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. My guest is here. I have Professor Isaac Adebayo Adeyemi. He's the Director, Scientific Affairs Committee, Nigerian Heart Foundation. Professor Adeyemi is also a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Science and also a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. Professor Isaac Adebayo Adeyemi, welcome to Talking Points, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome, sir.
Good afternoon.
Let's talk about hypertension. I've looked at stats there, and in a moment I'm going to be taking a look again at the figures, and other matters thrown up by your organization, the Nigerian Heart Foundation. But the reports that we get here is that many Nigerians, about 38%, that's almost 40% of Nigerians are living with high blood pressure disease. And essentially, I want to isolate what is hypertension, what is high blood pressure, and whether we can, they can meet at a point. So let's start with hypertension, since it's the theme for our conversation. What exactly is hypertension? Well,
hypertension is a reflection of the contraction and pumping of blood within the system. Okay, as the blood is being pumped by the heart against the arteries, that's a sort of pressure. By the time the heart relaxes, the pressure is diminished.
Okay.
So that highest point is what is called systolic pressure. And then the least point, when the heart contracts, is the diastolic pressure.
Okay.
So on the average, the normal blood pressure is about 120 over 80.
120 over 80.
But amongst Nigerians, 140 over 90 is considered as being normal.
Okay.
So once the pressure exceeds those figures, 160, 180, 200 over 100, 120, in that case, it is hypertension. So hypertension is also referred to as high blood pressure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a meeting point in
That's a meeting point. So it's a reflection of the contraction of the heart and the pressure it exerts against the blood arteries, the arteries. As well as when it relaxes, the pressure comes down. And that's why when you go to the doctor who measures your blood pressure, you will get the maximum and the minimum. And that forms the baseline for hypertension or high blood pressure. So there's always a reference point, depending on maybe the age, depending on the race. As I said earlier on, 120 over 80 amongst the whites, the white race, that's normal. But for Nigerians, 140 over 90 is still considered as being a normal range for blood pressure.
But Nigeria or Africa, essentially the two of them put together are not the only culprits across the world. I understand that about 1.6 billion people across the world, are living with hypertension.
Sure,
about 30% of the global population. But Nigeria carries also a big burden. One big question for me is, how did we arrive at getting high figures in low and middle income countries? What exactly are the issues that separates them?
Well, I believe over a period of time, series of researches will have been done. Okay? And you collect figures amongst different strata within the population. Over a long period of time, it could be for 10, 20 years, and then you arrive at a baseline. And once you arrive at that baseline, and you discover that within a particular group, they can still survive at that blood pressure range. You can have a Nigerian with as low as 120 over 80. That's still normal. That's why in most cases, the range globally is usually given as between 120 and 140 over 80 to 90. So that is the whole range. But we are just being specific okay, that among Nigerians, among the blacks, it could be as high as 140/90. I believe that is being achieved or being used as a reference in the sense that variations do occur within population, within race, and in an attempt to prevent drug abuse and also to avoid medications for those who can still subsist on that particular blood pressure. But by the time you are now going above 140, then 140/90, once you are going above that range, then there's always that red alert or warning. Okay? There are some very few within the population that can still survive above that. They still carry it and they're still normal. Okay? But that will have been peculiar to them. Provided they are monitoring their blood pressure over a certain period of time. And once it's measured over that period of time and they can still survive, then depending on the medical doctor, who gives them a clean bill. Okay? And that's it.
Okay. All right. So this one here now says that around half of people living with hypertension are unaware of their condition, putting them at risk of avoidable medical complications or death. Essentially, many people arrive at hospitals maybe to treat malaria. And because malaria is one of those obvious illnesses that you could have. It shows. You see the person who has malaria, but it's not written on their faces that people have high blood pressure. So how do we get to understand that we even have high blood pressure? How do we get to know? Because many of us in Nigeria, just like we were saying before coming to the microphone, many people in this country, maybe owing to the fact of the amount of money that people have to pay, out of pocket, particularly to access health. A lot of people just go normally and they say, God is my doctor and I'm okay, and the rest of it. It's a silent killer. Yeah. That's the way I'd like to describe it. Right. So how do we get to understand the things that predispose us to this condition so as to know if we're close to, then we can begin to access or get medical advice?
Okay, thank you. In fact, looking at the theme of this year's World Hypertension Day, the main theme really is to create awareness, amongst the population that there's prevalence or high prevalence of high blood pressure. And that's why high blood pressure has been referred to, as I rightly mentioned, a silent killer. Because we all take it for granted that, I'm okay. And that's why some people refer to us as walking corpses. You just find an individual slopping and dying, and that is it. But these are preventable deaths. Preventable in the sense that if you check your health status on a regular basis, the chances are that you will live longer. But unfortunately, because of poor accessibility to health facilities within this country, people just assume, well, why should I go to the hospital? How do I get to the hospital? Okay, even if I get there, the problem of buy this, go this, the cost implications will also be there. But talking about high blood pressure or measurement of your blood pressure, in recent times, things are changing. In the sense that you don't have to get to the hospital before you measure your blood pressure.
Oh, wow. Okay, we'll get to that. Okay. We'll get to that pretty soon. It's still talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. We're having conversations around hypertension. Today is World Hypertension Day 2021. I'm still speaking with Professor Isaac Adebayo Adeyemi, Director, Scientific Affairs Committee, Nigerian Heart Foundation. He's also a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Science and also a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. Quite a lot there. Okay, so let me come to the the difference in the figures across Nigeria. The Nigerian Heart Foundation, I believe, did a study and came up with the average is 38.1%, but the North Central is 28.9. In the South is 52.8. In the Southwest is 42.1. How do we account for this? What exactly are the issues? Is it about the air that they breathe, or the kind of foods, or the kind of stress? What exactly is it?
Well, there are so many factors that predispose an individual to hypertension. Genetic factors could be there. Then nutrient, your diet, especially intake of salt. High intake of salt has been shown to predispose an individual to hypertension. Overweight. You find somebody who is obese, okay, is highly predisposed to hypertension. Then lack of physical activities, sedentary living. Then diabetes mellitus could predispose one to hypertension. Also tobacco smoking, alcohol intake, and stress. So looking at the geographical spread of those data, you will discover that for each of the zones, some of these will vary. The type of food you eat, the type of diet, the type of nutrients and ingredients that go into them, okay, will also. And even consumption of processed and unprocessed foods will also be another factor. And even noise pollution. If you live in a highly noise polluted area, okay, you may not be aware of it, because by the time you are being disturbed by the prevailing noise in your around you, lack of sleep, insomnia could come in, and that will also. Then other stressful living. Let's take the situation in this country now. We all talk about insecurity. If I have to travel, I decide to go to Lagos from Ibadan now, I will first of all have palpitation. How will I get there safely? Will I be accosted on the way? Will I be kidnapped on the way? Then even financial status of an individual, unknowingly, you are thinking of how do I survive? That will set up a sort of stress. But you may not know. You may not even be aware that your blood pressure is going up. So silently, the pressure is being built up. Even I know that some studies have been done in some oil-polluted area. That even some of the chemicals and what have you that they just breathe in due to pollution can also cause hypertension. The farmers who work on the farm, who burn his bush at different times of the year, inhale smokes, just like somebody taking smoking tobacco. Okay, inhalation of such chemicals can also trigger hypertension.
All right.
So, and that's why you can have various factors depending on some geopolitical areas. So at the end of it all, NHF, for instance, arrived at that particular figure based on some statistics or data that were collected.
All right, it's still talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. We'll have more conversation on this heart issues, hypertension issues, high blood pressure. When we come back from this break, please don't go away.
Splash FM 105.5.
Charles!
Yes, mommy?
Go and bring 2 sachets of hypo bleach for me.
Why 2?
Because I'm using one to soak the whites and using one to kill all the germs.
But I can't see any germs here.
They are so tiny you can't see them, but they are there. And that is why I trust only hypo bleach to kill them all.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your household free of illness causing germs and viruses with the disinfecting power of hypo bleach.
Fresh should instill in us right great values needed to transform our country into a nation free of corruption.
But first, we must know the meaning of this corruption of a thing. I don't call it a phenomenon. I call it a virus. I call it a disease.
The Splash FM Oratory Contest 2021 is here, and it's bigger and better. It's time for worthy students to exercise their oratory skills. Finals come up on the 26th of May 2021 at MOV 21 Event Center. Time 12 noon. In the words of Dale Carnegie, only the prepared speaker deserves to be confident. Invited schools should come prepared and punctual. For inquiries and sponsorship, call 0805-699-8701. This event is sponsored by Dr. Fola Akinyosun and Kiram Lee Gym and Fitness Center. Please note, all COVID-19 measures will be duly observed.
A fully furnished, nice and comfortable hostel accommodation in University of Ibadan, or a place for seminars and executive trainings at the same venue? You do not have to worry. Adebayo Akonde Hall suits your lodging needs and provides you a home away from home. Adebayo Akonde Hall is a 4-star hostel built in a serene environment with constant supply of electricity. It has fully furnished rooms that gives you great comfort at an affordable price. Adebayo Akonde Hall is located at Ajibode Extension, University of Ibadan. To make reservations, visit www.adebayohall.com or call the numbers 0805-699-8718, 0805-699-8719, 0805-699-8720. Adebayo Akonde Hall. Built for comfort. Built for you.
Come the 29th of May, we will bring Porto to your doorstep when the royalty of English football, Chelsea, the pride of London, and Manchester City, the unstoppable citizens, light up Europe to compete for the biggest prize in club football, the Champions League final. Smart Code Africa, Mavin Dynamics, and 1960bet are in joint collaboration to make your night magical on Champions Night at MOV 21 Event Center at Dioyo, Ring Road, Ibadan for the biggest gathering of European football lovers. Come watch the game on the biggest screen with friends and color mates. Meet your favorite OAPs in the city. You stand a chance to win amazing prizes at the Champions Night. Access code is a bet slip of 1960bet. Media partner Splash FM, Lagelu FM. For more inquiries, please call 080-557-94255 or 090-286-30747. This event is powered by 1960bet.
Oh boy, check this new La Casera packaging now. Paulo said the freshness don't fresh. Me say na lie. The refreshment don't fresh. Now the matter with the set to so.
Bring and make a
Wait, why now?
Hey, same ultra apple taste, fresh new label. The refreshment don't fresh. Enjoy the fresh vibes of La Casera with new colorful, exciting look. Also the bamba apple taste, no change. Oh, La Casera, I love this drink.
Splash FM 105.5.
All right, it's still talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. And we're talking World Hypertension Day, having conversations around this matter. And for this year, the theme for this year is measure your blood pressure, control it, live longer. So it's basically the theme speaks to me in such a way that it tells me that I need to know my blood pressure. It will help us to know when to slow down and when to not do some things. Okay, so I have Assistant Professor Isaac Adebayo Adeyemi, Director, Scientific Affairs Committee, Nigerian Heart Foundation, in the house. I've also been joined by Ibukun Shoemimo, is the of Eagles Heart Foundation. Ibukun, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Before you came in, Prof had been telling us the predisposing factors to, high blood pressure or hypertension, so to speak. And he mentioned some factors: sedentary life, obesity. He talked about high intake of salt, diabetes, tobacco, alcohol, noisy environment, stressful living. I know you are also an activist in this area, and I was thinking, when Prof was speaking, I was thinking, how do you avoid some of these things, because they are just there. The noisy environment, you can't ask everybody to shut up. We even have some neighborhoods. I used to live somewhere where there's a barber, at the gate. And, there's this noise that comes from the place every time. We live in all these places, and these things don't really occur to us as disturbances. You have, you have stress. Many of us think that the more stress you can endure, the better, the bigger your account balance. And so it's become normal for us. You walk on the streets on this matter. Tell me your engagement with people on this matter of high blood pressure. What do you deduce from, the fact that people live their normal lives, even when people like you go out and make advocacy about high blood pressure?
Thank you, Mr. Michael. I think what really happened is that the awareness is very low, and our health-seeking behavior in this part of the world is not good at all. We live in a country where you only go to the hospital when you are sick, when you are really sick.
When you are really sick.
Yes. So when you have small ailment, you can walk to the next pharmacy and get 1 or 2 drugs, and you treat yourself. And every Nigerian parent is a doctor. Because when your child falls sick, you are the one to diagnose, you are the one to treat, and most times, the end result can be very woeful. So I think government needs to be proactive. They need to take a very concise step, in the sense that this is not for NGOs, organizations to handle. Government have the legal power. Just like government rose up to COVID-19, and in a very short period, in fact, even the dumbest person in Nigeria will tell you 1 or 2 things about COVID-19. I believe if government can, make people know that, look, environmental factor is very crucial to health. Where you live, your kind of lifestyle, I think people will start, there will be this health-seeking behavior. Because one thing about us in this country, which I've noticed, is that another Nigerian doesn't want to die.
Okay.
Like, let people know that.
That's a good place to start.
You will die if you continue living this way. I want to tell people will change. But since the awareness is not there, and this hypertension of a thing is very silent, only a very small proportion of people have symptoms. So chances are that it can go unnoticed, undiagnosed, you can miss it. Then people get to know that they are hypertension when they come down with a stroke or heart attack. That's what I don't think that, look, your PP was so high. I know I live in an environment where I know I have a stroke patient that I look after almost all the time. And I can tell you, if someone living in such an environment, educated, could come down with a stroke, how much more the illiterate, the poor people in the Nungus. So the awareness is very, 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 very low. And because of these poor health infrastructures, the fact that healthcare is not easily accessible, and the fact that you have to wait, you have to join long queues before you can see a doctor. Doctors are often tired, not getting. Some people will tell you, they'll just give paracetamol. The last time my husband fell sick, he took this drug, you to go and repeat it. And it may not work. So I think our health-seeking behavior is very low. And that is in part is due to our poor health infrastructure. And the awareness is really not there. That is what for non-communicable diseases, it's really not there at all.
Okay, there are some other things that the Nigerian Heart Foundation put here. They said that unmodifiable or preventable factors, family history, that's hereditary, inheritance from parents, age, sex, black race. Of course, Prof addressed the issue of the black race a while ago. And I'm interested in this family history thing. Since we know that this overweight, sedentary, diabetes, tobacco, alcohol, noisy environment, stressful living, predispose us to it. Sometimes it may be difficult for you to explain to, family members that somebody in the family, came down with hypertension or something, and therefore every other person in that family needs to watch out. How does it happen, really? Some people will say, no, Shebi is my daddy, Shebi is my mommy. How does it, how do you explain it, really?
Well, I think looking at the Nigerian terrain, we don't have family history or medical, little knowledge about. If you meet an average English boy who is just maybe 10, it will tell you, my grandfather died of hypertension. My grandmother died of cancer.
Okay.
My dad died of diabetes. Because he had, right from birth, he had been trained. There's always that conversation between mother, father, and the children. And the medical conditions of the father are not hidden from the children. So it's like passing it on to generation. That brings in the idea of medical education at all levels, especially right from primary school to secondary school level. There's a need to make our children and even their parents to be able to communicate. It will lessen the burden to some extent. Because if I know that my grandfather had heart challenges while alive, the chances are that my own children may also have it.
What we have usually is he died after a brief illness.
Yeah, because there's no medical record, no medical history within the family. That's one point. The other point I just want to allude to is in terms of that awareness. Let me give you an instance. I live in an area that for almost 2 or 3 years, the representatives of public health units from UCH, the last day of the month when we are holding the usual landlord association, they will come in to measure blood pressure, sugar level, and one or two other. But people will not come out. Are you getting me? It got to a stage that they were moving from door to door to announce to other residents, free of charge. They are not paying a penny for it. So that's another aspect. That's talking about awareness. The other aspect is that we are more or less prone to self-medication in this country. If I'm having a headache, the first thing I would think of is Panadol, or at worst, malaria. So that to some extent has also limited our exposure to medical, apart from the fact that our health conditions, our health institutions are nothing to write home about in this country. The current ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has shown clearly that our primary health care delivery system is next to nothing. And once you don't have the primary health care system closer to the people, you find it difficult for them to get across for treatment.
Okay. The issue of age, I like to address the issue of age. When we say that age is part of those factors, I like to ask, at what point should people, should Nigerians particularly, male and female, at what point should they begin to pay special attention to particularly their blood pressure? At what point? At what age, I mean?
I think gonna know this way they say life begins at 40. Life begins quite earlier these days. Because there's this thing called epidemiological transition. 20, 30 years ago, the kind of health problem we are facing in this part of the country is not what we are facing now. Gone are the days of TB, although we still have TB, days of guinea worm and co. Now we are face to face with, non-communicable diseases owing to globalization, adoption of Western lifestyle and the like. So I think as early as possible, in my own opinion, I stand to be corrected anyways. Anybody from 18 and above should be checking his or her blood pressure regularly.
18 and above?
You agree with me that by the time you get admission to the university, you have to do medicals?
Yes.
Whether you get admission at 15 or 20. and they will check your blood pressure. The first time I had my BP check was 2005 when I gained admission to the university, and I was a teenager then, or we close to 20 or thereabouts. So I believe anybody from any adult who start from 18 or so should be checking his or her blood pressure. Although the frequency may not be as much as for those of advanced age, but at least you have to just know it. Because these days you even hear of young people coming down with stroke, and you wonder
45, 47,
even 30s.
50.
Then you wonder what is going on. Heart attack for 30-something-year-old. In those days, for the elderly, grandpas, grandmas. But everything have changed now because of this preponderance of risk factor all over the place. The things people are engaging in their, even teenagers are doing it now. And the rate at which these poisons are coming into the system, all in the name of, they are sugarcoating them. They will tell you X, Y, Z, beta. I don't want to mention name. That is good for pile, and by the time you check the alcohol content, it's 40%. You'll be like, is this in a go-go or to take care of my back?
Or medicine.
Because by the time you take a drink, 40% alcohol, 40% volume, and they tell you it's for manpower. Be like, is it manpower or you want to scatter my liver? And you will see NAFDAC approved. That means can be marketed even on television, even on national TV.
Yeah.
They are all these bitters. And this is what youths take from time to time.
Okay. Wow.
Clubs, opening air and there. What do they do in clubs? Drink, smoke, dance.
But they also socialize, strike deals, business deals.
Deals, but when you are inhaling tobacco smoke, when you are taking vodka that you drink and you're not able to drive, you're already shortening your life, and youths don't check their health status.
Okay.
Imagine a guy with, let's say, BP of 160, 110, going to club on a Friday and still settling down with one big bottle of 40% volume alcohol. If he died the next weekend, is it not worth it?
Okay. Prof, some people will just sleep. You observe the particularly religious leaders recently. Someone just slept and then did not wake up. How do you explain it? Let's talk religion now.
Yeah, well, it's nothing but stress to me. Stressful living. Because at times, some of our religious leaders, they overstretch themselves. At that sleepless nights, in an attempt to please their congregation, they how will I put it? They just go overboard. Let me put it that way. Some don't even know when to rest. I read a book some years back by an American evangelist. I can't remember the title of that book. But what happened to that man? He had been on the fast lane. On the fast lane, that he didn't have enough time even for his family. He would always be traveling here and there for one crusade or the other. But the day he would learn his lesson, he got to the airport to catch a plane, and then he slept off. He missed the plane. Lo and behold, that crusade went on without him. It was there. He said, look, so I've been undoing myself over the years. One, I'm losing my family. Two, my health is collapsing. If I could miss my plane while at the airport and I slept off, it means I need a break. So just what you refer to, the younger ones, as said by my colleague here, fast life, alcohol, and what have you. Then we mentioned something about the older generation. Their life is not as fast, and moreover, they consume more of natural foods.
I will come to natural foods after now. I was reading the document by the Nigerian Heart Foundation, and I saw some effects of fruits on hypertension. We will come to that when we come back from this break. By the way, you can watch us live on Facebook. Okay, we've been running on Facebook since, but you can still go to Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan and watch us live. Okay, we're live streaming. Take a break now. When we come back from this break, I'll attempt to talk about the fruits, and then all the other things. And then the question I'd like you to note down, please. Can blood pressure be low or too low? So what is the implication of that? When we come back, you'll be able to talk to us on the phone as well. 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, and 0706 949 3000. Those are the numbers to call. It's Splash FM.
Splash FM 105.5.
Enter the place and it brighten. Make everybody they wonder. Waiting me cause all the shine. Lush hair, lush hair. Long hair or short doesn't matter. Crochet or dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls we know better. Lush hair, lush hair. So you want to slay? Slay with swag. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. Straight or curly. You know they tango. Lie. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. You wonder how I shine like this. I'm on a lush hair, be the coco. Say you want to know. And if you wanna be fine like me, I can show you where to go. A lush hair, be the coco.
Beautiful people know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be beautiful.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Charles!
Yes, mommy?
Go and bring 2 sachets of hyper bleach for me.
Why 2?
Because I'm using one to soak the whites and using one to kill all the germs.
But I can't see any germs here.
They are so tiny you can't see them. But they are there. And that is why I trust only hyper bleach to kill them all.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your household free of illness causing germs and viruses with the disinfecting power of hypo bleach.
Prayer should instill in us right values needed to transform our country into a nation free of corruption. But first, we must know the meaning of this corruption of a thing. I don't call it a phenomenon. I call it a virus. I call it a disease.
The Splash FM Oratory Contest 2021 is here, and it's bigger and better. It's time for worthy students to exercise their oratory skills. Finals come up on the 26th of May 2021 at MOV 21 Event Center. Time 12 noon. In the words of Dale Carnegie, only the prepared speaker deserves to be confident. Invited schools should come prepared and punctual. For inquiries and sponsorship, call 0805-699-8701. This event is sponsored by Dr. Fola Akinyosun and Kiram Lee Gym and Fitness Center. Please note, all COVID-19 measures will be duly observed.
Ibadan! 9 Mobile 4G LTE has landed and we are in for the time of our lives. Streaming matches will never be the same. Video calls will be clearer than ever. Work will be so smooth, it won't feel like work. That's smooth.
Yes, Ibadan. Enjoy browsing with quality 4G LTE on 9 mobile data plans. Get 2 GB plus free access to social media for 500 naira, 7 GB plus free access to social media for 1,500 naira, and 3.5 GB free data for night streaming on select monthly data plans of 1,000 naira and above. Dial *200 *3 *1 hash to get started. T's apply. 9 Mobile. Splash FM 105.5.
All right, it's still talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Today is World Hypertension Day 2021. We're having this conversation with experts in the house. The Nigerian Heart Foundation has a list here. They're saying that You can reduce your intake of salt, and this can be done by vegetables and fruits that are fresh rather than processed. Read labels on processed or canned food and beverages and avoid those that are high in salt or sodium content. It says watch out for NHF heart mark logo while shopping, and add very little or no salt in preparing food. Instead, add apps or lemon juice. It says that you can reduce hypertension and controlled. You said can be reduced and controlled with drugs. And then you losing weight. That addresses the question of obesity, restricting intake of salt, regular physical exercise, and adequate control of stress. That last one, adequate control of stress. Well, my own question is, if the stress is coming from inside of you, maybe you can control it. But if the stress is environmental, how do you lock out the rest of the world so that you can keep your stress level low? Those are some of the questions that I will be throwing up now. But I want to start with low blood pressure. Is there anything like low blood pressure really?
Yeah, there is hypertension.
Okay, so it's okay, right?
Well, it's not really okay because it's the other side of hypertension. And hypertension could be due to so many factors. Emotional stress could be part of it. During pregnancy, there could be hypertension among women. At times, the use of some drugs or lack of some nutrients, dehydration can also lead to hypertension. And in a very minority group of individuals, it could also be genetic. There could be, within a particular family, you can have some individuals that suffer from hypotension. Well, that's what we call physiological adaptation. At that low, but it's very, very minor.
Okay, we have a caller here, Prof. Okay. Let's attend to this call. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's the name, please?
My name is Benjamin.
Benjamin, let's talk very quickly.
Yeah. I'm a hypertension patient.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to know whether I can be using any drug I can be using.
Okay, Prof will address that. Any drug. Okay.
Not any drug. My advice is make sure you see your doctor.
Okay.
Don't go on self-medication. That is very, very dangerous.
Okay.
I've been seeing doctor since all these days.
Okay.
So what they wrote for me, I've been using it.
Yeah.
But I've been going to toilet so much.
You have been doing what?
Going to toilet.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's an aspect of diuretics. You still have to see your doctor.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't practice self-medication. You're going to toilet, you are a man, isn't it? You're going to toilet could be due to something else. So that's why you need to see your doctor, complain to your doctor, and if there's a need to do general medical checkup, then you should be prepared to do that.
All right. Thank you very much, Benjamin, for that question. You have another question or any question for that matter, 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, and 07069 493 3000. Nigerians don't want to die. That was what Ibukun said a while ago. Nigerians don't want to die. But you see, we're recording, these numbers. And sometimes you begin to ask the question. We have information, we do this. I know that we have done this regularly for quite some time now. Every time we have the opportunity to talk about hypertension, high blood pressure, and all that on radio, we do. It is still enough. Still not enough.
Yes.
Oh, what more do we need to do?
Thank you very much. I don't know of any large-scale awareness for hypertension or any other cardiovascular disease risk factor. If there was a time when HIV, was really prevalent in Nigeria, I think I was a teenager or so thereabout. I was so much educated that even though I was not in an institution, I can tell you all the risk factors. I can tell you all the, means of contracting it and the like. I think government needs to do the same thing for non-communicable diseases. not just hypertension or cardiovascular disease alone. Because one thing about NCDs is that they all have common risk factors. While you are trying to prevent hypertension, you're also cutting your risk of cancer and diabetes. By eating right, it's not only good for your heart, cutting risk of cancer, cutting risk of diabetes. So government needs to do an holistic, awareness, whereby you put on your radio, you hear it, on TV, you hear it, newspaper, you hear it. Even they have to go to the communities, house to house, let people know why they must start leading a healthy lifestyle, why they must keep going, why they need to go for medical checkup. Because that is that's the hallmark of what we came here to do today. Try and just go to the hospital.
Okay.
Let them check your blood pressure. Then if you are fine, good. Doctor will tell you how to keep leading your healthy lifestyle.
Okay. Prof, how regularly should, Ibukun said that from 18 or from 19 or so, we should check, our blood pressure. How regularly should we check our blood pressure, for instance?
Well, you can start to be having it maybe once a month.
Once in a month?
Once in a month.
Okay.
Depending on your status, your health status. If over a certain period of time, you have been declared to be free of hypertension, so you can be doing that at intervals.
Okay.
But if you're an hypertensive patient, it is better that you do it regularly. And as I said earlier on, you don't even have to get to the hospital to do your instead of go and queuing in the hospital. If you have the financial means, you can buy the digital tag.
There are machines now.
That you can
just put in your house.
Secondly, go to any of these pharmaceutical shops. They also do hypertension routine test, sugar, blood pressure, and highly could you get a place, any of the urban areas that you not find these chemist shops nearby. The only problem we have, to me, is more in the rural areas, where there are no health facilities at all. They are highly disadvantaged.
All right. We have to go now. I'd like to say thanks to you for coming. Ibukun Showemimo, Eagles Heart Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming today. And I hope that this message of the World Hypertension Day will get out to the people. Thank you again for coming. Professor Isaac Adebayo Adeyemi, Director, Scientific Affairs Committee, Nigerian Heart Foundation, is also Fellow, Nigerian Academy of Science, and Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Food and Science and Technology. Prof, thank you for coming again,
Thank
sir.
you, thank you.
I'm hoping that we'll get you to come again sometime soon.
I'm always available.
All right, the job is done for today. I'd like you to hold on for about a news update at 4 o'clock, and after that, game on. Don't forget also that the Splash FM Oratory Contest is coming up pretty soon on the 26th. I'm inviting you. I'll be welcoming you personally. And don't forget that on the 27th, Children's Day, Splash FM Children's Fun Fair, all on the 27th, and MOV 21 Event Center is very close by. I'd like to invite everybody. Let's enjoy this season, okay? My name is Michael Olatunbosun. So make sure you do everything within your power to make this nation better. And please do not dump refuse in the waterways. Okay, so you need to check your blood pressure. Enjoy the rest of the day.
War and crisis, Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda and ISIS. How come the poor people are the nicest?